I'd like to welcome everybody here to the Respect Annual Conference. My name is Michael Gavan, I'm the Chair of New Respect and I'm chairing this morning's session. I'll just introduce colleagues on the platform. On the far left is the most important person in the conference today, Rebecca Townsend. She's in charge of timekeeping. So she's the person who makes sure that we don't go beyond midnight this evening, so she's got a key role today. Ollie Rahman is one of our brilliant counsellors. And if there's a better respect counsellor anywhere in the country, I've met them, and it isn't to criticise any of the rest, but does a fantastic job. Well done, Ollie. And Ollie will be chairing this afternoon's session of conference. On our next to me is somebody who, what's his name? Does a fantastic job for us. John Rees, our National Secretary. And next to John is someone who's known to many of you, Elaine Graham-Leigh, and she's going to be doing a lot of important things at the conference, including giving the report from the Conference Arrangements Committee. Now, before we get down to business, just want to say a few words. Clearly, this is a very important conference for our coalition. We know the need for our coalition is more important now than it's ever been. We know that Gordon Brown is no better than Blair. If anything, it's going to be even worse. We know the warmongers are gathering. We know they want to attack Iran. We know that at home, the policies of privatisation, attacking trade unions, undermining communities is still there. It's still a fight for all of us in our coalition. We cannot abandon our communities, working class trade unions. We cannot abandon them to only the Labour Party. That would be a disaster. We came into being to offer a real alternative to New Labour. We're still here, we're still building that alternative, and nobody is going to stop us building respect. Okay, right, we're going to ask Elaine to give us the Conference Arrangements Committee report. Elaine, over to you.
Okay, well there are two parts to this. Before I move on to the Conference Arrangements Committee report, the boring bit about running conference, there are some important matters about delegations. You may know that some of the delegations that are here today have been disputed for various reasons. So what I want to do is explain to Conference how the Conference Arrangements Committee dealt with that, and then I'd like to ask Conference to vote on whether you approve of the way that we dealt with these disputes. This is for three groups: Tower Hamlets, Birmingham and the students. So Tower Hamlets, there was a delegate allocation of 77 because they had 770 members. There was a list of 46 people who were the people who had sent their names to the branch secretary by the time that they were told to do, to indicate that they were interested in being delegates. Now that list was voted on in a properly constituted branch meeting, and it was passed. There was another list which was handwritten and turned up halfway through a branch meeting, which was never voted on and never passed. The list of 46 was sent to the Conference Arrangements Committee by the deadline for submitting names of delegates. No other list was received. So the view that we took as Conference Arrangements Committee was that that list of 46 people are the delegates from Tower Hamlets, and they are the people who are here today. Birmingham had 15 delegates in total, 3 for North Birmingham and 12 for South Birmingham. There's no problem with the North Birmingham delegates. The issue with South was that the meeting that happened in South Birmingham elected 17 delegates. Not in order or anything, just a group of 17, which obviously is more than their entitlement. However, when we looked at these people on our database, actually 6 of them had never been members of Respect. So we took the view that we would exclude those who had been elected as delegates but weren't actually members of the party, and therefore all the others could be delegates. Okay, the issue with the students, this is actually an issue that's been raised by people who may not be here today, to suggest that the student delegations are somehow illegitimate because the students aren't members on our national database held in the office. Now, the view that we took is actually in line with the National Council's decision last year, when the National Council agreed to allow delegates to come from student groups, which is that if you are a member of a student respect society, then you count towards a delegate entitlement, which is 1 delegate for every 10 members of each student respect society. So we got the students to send in the list of their members, and that's members as defined by the regulations of their university. And we calculated the numbers of delegates that they could have, and there are 48 student delegates, most of whom are already here today, and I'm sure the others will be rolling up when they get out of bed. So, no disrespect to the students. So that's the basis on which the student delegates were arranged. So I'd just like to ask conference with the Chair's permission to approve that or not.
Okay, Elaine, thanks very much. I'll put that straight to the vote. All those in favour of approving the delegations, please show. Thank you. Any against? Okay, those are approved. Elaine, thanks very much. We'll carry on with the rest of the Conference Arrangements Committee report.
Okay, so the rest of the report, you've got the standing orders for conference in your delegates and observer packs. So I'm moving that as part of this report. The salient points, I think, is that obviously this is a one-day conference, which is specifically going to talk about the issues that we've been recently having in respect and how we move forward to continue fighting against war and privatisation, as Michael said. So we're only going to be taking those resolutions that are relevant to that. So the resolutions you got in the pack are the ones we're taking today. All the others are being referred to another conference which will happen within the first 6 months of next year. So if your resolution isn't on there, that's what's happened to it. Okay, just a few points about the running of conference. As in previous years, speaking will be by speakers' slips. People are walking around with slips. Particularly if you're moving a motion in the first session, can you please get your slip in now so we know that you're moving a motion? If you're moving a motion or if you're just speaking in the debate, you have 3 minutes, and Rebecca will tap on the mic when you have a minute left, and then she'll tap again to make you shut up. We'll take 1 speech formally moving a resolution and 1 speech against, but obviously there'll be lots of time for general debate. And the votes will be, as you've just done, by holding your delegate card up, and unless the chair says otherwise, we'll take the votes at the end of each session. So just finally, please can you turn off your mobile phones, please? The first person whose mobile phone goes off in the middle of the debate gets the first round in at the social. Thanks.